Merry Christmas, everybody! We're actually 4 days before Christmas, but who's counting? Close enough, right? I got Christmas lights and all that stuff, so hopefully. Yeah! Welcome, everybody. So, you guys have got your Christmas gift, right? This is a free library Mr. Fred Nongat from Subsonic Artz has given to all of us. The first one, you just play middle C. You play any note, it does this. Hey, Marco, Nisha, Kisaka-san, Daniela, Da Vinci, Marcel, Fred, Ellen, Keith, Rob, the Ives. Simeon's here. Oh, cool. Thank you, Simeon. I appreciate the note. Merry Christmas, everybody. Happy holidays. Hi, Bernie. Hi, Todd. Bender. Good to see you all. Welcome. So, let's see. Did I put a link? I can't remember if I put a link in the video description for this. Here. Let's see. Free library. To celebrate Christmas. Here, I'll give you a link. Let me get the link right here. All right, it's in the video description now. And you have more than 90. Marco, that's incredible, man. Thank you. Oh, Manuel. Sorry, Manuel. Thank you for buying buying Purity, and you now have more than 90. Yes, you've been around a while, and I appreciate that. Thank you. Appreciate it very much. All you guys that are, I call 5-star, you guys have invested and partnered in a way with me to fuel your productions with the sounds I've created. And other people have created, like Fred has created as well. We all appreciate getting to do what we love and getting to celebrate the year. So anyway, I'm wearing a silly sweater. I went to a funny thing last night. It's really funny. It says, let's see if I zoom this out. It says fa la la, and it has a cat, and it says nope. So yeah, it's fa la 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 la, nope. But anyway, here I'm gonna. That's a little better. But I had to do the opening with, I had to do all that stuff. Anyway, Fred has a library for the GX80 that a lot of you are loving, and for good reason, because it's really, really well done. And let me show you that for just a second. This is for the Cherry Audio GX80. You need to own the Cherry Audio GX80, and then you have access to these incredibly deep, very thoroughly programmed sounds. Every one of these has so much character, and really, if you go through the voicing of the GX80, there's not many that push into this super out there territory sonic wise, and so Fred really knocked it out of the park as far as getting sounds. It's happy with the dragon in the cave or something like that, right? Just so much to it. It's Plux, but it's more than Plux, right? Well, this has been flying off the shelves. Lots of you guys have got this, and so as a thank you, Fred decided he wanted to just do more than say thank you. He wanted to give you guys all an additional library. And so he made Subsonic Artz Merry Christmas, which has happy things to play, melodies, and all your favorite Christmas songs and stuff. There's kids giggling. I don't even know how. I know he used AI and then he did all sorts of shaping and stuff in the DAW to get him to fit to time. So, thank you, Fred. Very, very kind of you to give us but definitely puts you into the Christmas spirit. If I didn't have lights jingling and all that stuff, this alone would make me feel Christmassy. So, thank you, Fred. Everybody give a shout out to Fred. Fred's in the chat, so shout out to him. Say thank you, brother. Shout out to Fred. Shout out to Fred. It's a very lovely gift. So, it's a free download. There's no license to it. It's not on the website. It's through Dropbox, so it's really easy to get. But you can have your kids and your friends and family come into your studio and play them this, and they're going to just think you're the coolest to play this and play a couple Christmas songs and show them, wow, cool stuff comes out of this studio instead of just always disappearing. Yeah, so there you go. Something to make that family happy, all that kind of stuff. Yes, Fred's the bomb. He's the bomb. So the other thing that happened this Thursday, I released Purity, and I've seen some very nice comments. Thank you for those of you commenting. I'm really proud of this library and really happy with how it turned out. I don't know if you know this, but these libraries are just given to me. I start in a certain direction and I get inspired, and next thing I look up and there's these incredible sounds that were made, and I thank God wherever that inspiration is for the inspiration behind what I get to do and what I love to do. But this library came out really special. Oh, I was gonna get my prayer bowls. Here, let me go get one. I showed you last week, right? Let me bring it. 1 second. 1 second. I'll be right back. Trying not to drop this one. If you know the story, let's see here. So I've been kind of collecting these types of things for a little while. These are crystal singing bowls. It's a very special type of singing bowl. They come back to life when you play inside. It gets so loud it distorts the microphone. I won't do that. So you can play it with this. You can like have things resting on it to vibrate. There's also this type of sound, which is when you're rubbing with this stick. And so I set up a dual microphone setup with my pair of stereo Rode NT55s and one of this mic. This is the AKG 214. It's the lesser expensive brother to the AKG 414. I actually have a matching stereo pair of them, but I just used one to get a little bit more of a body, and then I recorded all these different bells. So let's see if we go to Purity. The first patch is kind of like the big demo patch. Let's see here. Yes, I checked the price of singing crystal bowls online and was shocked. They're a couple $100 for a couple of them. I spent probably $600 for my bowls and broke one of them, unfortunately. yeah, they're not cheap. It's an art to create them, and they're perfectly tuned either to 432 or 440 hertz. This is 440. The E was actually 432, and I had to tune it in the samples. But, you know, these are something that you have some sort of like in yoga classes I've been to, they use them. They also have the metal bells. It's a really beautiful sound. And I don't know many libraries that have them as part of the library. And so it was really, really, really cool to kind of come up with something that I hadn't seen a lot with. So here's this bell as a sample. And then there's the E and the B. And a number of you have written back, and a number of you guys write emails all the time, and are like, I'm shocked at how present these are. And that was the whole goal, was to make these so that it sounds like it's right in front of you. It doesn't sound like a recording somehow. I'm not an engineer per se. But what's fun is one sample plays really nicely across the whole keyboard because of the attack being a fast, really nice attack. And as Jason said, there's the attack knob, which if you bring this up, you can get it to be from a fast to more a softer attack. And it's just pure. That was the goal. Here's the story. I did Electric Dreams, and I did the drums, and I kind of messed up my ears a little bit. And so I wanted to do more drums. I've got a whole bunch of drum samples. I was going to do drum kits. And I'm like, you know, I think my ears need a break. And so instead of doing drums, I was like, well, let's do the opposite. Let's go for the most pure, pleasing, healing sounds we can. So I made this library for me more than you in some respects. And I actually started by making the pads and stuff first. So I made all of these different lovely pads. Oh, Barbara, that's great. Thank you. Welcome. Glad to see you here. Welcome. Yay! Yeah, Unify is cool. We started and released Unify in 2020. This coming January will be its 5th year anniversary. And we've added a lot to it in the last 4 years. I worked with Shane Dunn, this software engineer. I don't know if Shane's here or not. I haven't seen his name pop up. He is a very busy guy these days. He's actually moving to a different occupation as a manager of an incredible team of very gifted people in software and not in the music industry. And a gentleman by the name of Wave Sequencer, who I don't know if he's going to show up here today or not. He made Hyperion and Tia that are available through Traction. We have inked a deal for him to work with us. And so he is working with me on Unify 2, which will be coming out first half of 2025. And it's going to have separate audio output assignments per layer. We've expanded the knobs so that there's a whole bunch of different kind of knobs. And a whole lot of other stuff I can't talk about yet. But it's really cool. And I think it's a plugin that needed to be made. And I got kind of late to the game with all these other cool, like Omnisphere and so forth being released. And I'm like, I can't compete with Serum and Omnisphere and things like that. And so I just saw that all these plugins, there's software from some companies that either incorporate all of their engines like Arturia does, or Native Instruments tries to do their complete control kind of thing. And it's really slow to use. It has to load each plugin each time you go to a different patch. It's just, ugh. And it only is with their, well, you can get some of their other plugins and stuff, but this is agnostic. any plugin you own, any format you own, you can work with. So it's really, really fun. So I'm glad you're here. Make sure that you've gone to the plugin page. And I suggest when people are just starting out, instead of scanning all your plugins, you can go either select plugin files to scan, and then this will take you to the page for plugins, and you can like go through and you can hold down, I think it's the command key, and you can pick out your favorites and just scan those first to start. So you're not like, you know, it's pretty overwhelming. This is like, I think over 700 plugins in here at this point that I have, and they all work. It's crazy, crazy. And as you can see, it can be VST, it can be VST3. Some are audio units only, so those will show up every now and then in the list. Not very often. Most of the time, people if they make an audio unit version. Oh, there's one. Which one is this? Audio unit for Synth 1 by Dachi. Oh, I installed that. I think I have the other synth ones as well and stuff like that. Have you considered doing a community library? We should. We haven't. We did a community library a year ago. When we did the Guru Collective Volume 1. And that came out really well. It's a free library. Make sure, if you're new to Unify, that you go to the Plugin Guru website. Make sure, here's Purity that you can get right there by clicking that link, and I thank you. If you go to the current deals and free stuff, you'll see the current libraries that are out and all that kind of stuff. Oh, I don't have the free stuff listed. Shoot. Well, I'll have to add the free stuff back to this. I was kind of like, I had a sale a while back for Black Friday, and I haven't updated that yet. So I'll get the free stuff listed there. But there's 808 libraries. There's a couple Uniscream. There's actually 3 different Uniscream libraries now. There's a whole lot of free patches, as well as all the unified libraries. If you go to the Unify tab, you can scroll down to where you see all of the plugins that we have gotten permission from the companies, and we've saved their patches in Unify format. And the advantage to that is that now, because of the ability to change right here to just Unify layer, and so I can take this pad and I can go up here to the bells. Well, here I'm in a whole different library, so I could go to a different library and choose like well, let's do this. Let's play. This is one of Tim Dale's patches. This is the ESQ1 bells. So if we were to put that into reverb, and if you have unified libraries, you go down here to the unified. Let's see, I don't have a lot of the unified libraries listed. And Microtonic's just drum grooves. So you can go to Microtonic and say, let's load this. And then what I do quite often is I'll then open the unified layer to like refine what it is that it's playing. Right? So the fun thing is all the patches, you can just load them super easily and layer and then save it as a new patch and so forth. Okay, well, let's get back to Purity. For those of you that have just a little bit of an introduction to Purity, let me go back to the beginning. This first patch is kind of fun. It kind of like shows you the whole library. It shows you the pads. And I ain't messing around with the pads. This is a really cool crescendo pad. Fades out if you hold the note down. And then I have right here the 2 metal bells. I sampled 2 meditation metal bells, as well as the glass crystal bells. And then down below is water and wind, just backwards, and birds. And they're set to latch. And then I have this set so that it doesn't play below that range to restart. And I just have it on manual start and stop so it doesn't trigger the samples down there. If you're using this in your DAW, you might turn latch off and just say raw MIDI in and then sequence it by just holding down a note. This is more for a performance kind of an application to get these sounds to play. and they just sit there. And then on the macro knobs, this very first macro knob I have set up in a very special way. It's a layer selector for the Unify Layer 1, which has 8 different articulations that I did with the bells. So the awakens are the comes to life. And if you notice, I can play anywhere I want with the bass, because I have a MIDI filter on the bass telling it to suppress the sustain pedal, which means ignore sustain. On some plugins, sustain pedal doesn't work, so you do the opposite. You'd say emulate, and now you have sustain working on plugins where they didn't add sustain pedal support. I'm doing the opposite in this case because I want so you can play chords here. Play the bass with your left hand, and I can be sustaining the right hand and still playing anything I want with the left hand. Here's a filter for the bass. So cool. Very, very, very fun. So there's all sorts of different articulations, and these are available as separate patches over here. I just laid them all together here, so as you move through this, I'm now playing, this is the credit card, where I use the credit card on the edge of the bowl. Kind of unique. There's finger rolls. There's even, I went and then there's also a slow, if you play the bowl with this and you let it just bounce, you can get really cool rhythms and stuff. By doing that. So I did that both slow and fast. So you have, this is the B2 bowl. So that's the original sample. But this is kind of like, I did a library last year that is another one of my I have many favorites. Magic Motion is bells played with out of time timing, so that you could go to these things where it's there's special processing and reverb and stuff, but with these. So I love the concept of free time for things. And the chimes, here's the chimes where they were played in a sparse way. So, right? So I've done some of that in the past, and so I did that with the bowls. Here's like the fingers, this is the fast rolls. There's a high pass filter to get rid of the body if you just want the fingertips. And it's really cool if you combine that, go down here to the pads. Like, let's add purity, just as, let's just say instrument 1, so it just adds just not a unified layer. If you load a unified layer, let me show you the difference just so everybody understands. If I say choose a new unified layer, it loads a patch. Everything, the master effects, all the auxiliary effects are added, so the patch is intact as it was saved. If you use the command that's seen here that says instrument 1 only, Or when I right click, if I say instrument 1 only, instead of loading the whole patch, it only loads whatever is in slot 1 of the instrument. So if I was on one of these bigger patches where there's lots of layers, if I say load instrument 1, it's only going to load instrument 1. So you need to kind of know if what your most patches in most cases are single patches. So you can just say load instrument 1. That way I have access to the effects that were on that layer. And let's say you make something like this and you want to save it. How do you save it? There's a couple suggestions I have. Number 1, you can just hit save. You can even save it into the existing library of Purity. Just change the name. Just put, let's say, since this is different, I'm going to give it a different name. So I'm going to call it a, say if I was doing my own patches, maybe I put a ZZ at the beginning or something so that they're grouped in their own place if you want. Say pad and fingertip frost. And I'm just going to say into the Purity library. You can save it into any library. If you go down here to the user library, you can save it there. If you say new library, it will pop up where you can type in a name of a new library, and Unify will make the folder directories and then save it into the patch folder for you so that you now have a new library that you started with, you know, Barbara's favorite patches or somebody else's favorite patches. So if it goes save as, this is how you would save a new patch. If you say update, it's going to try to update and it's going to go, oh, well, this is a UPF preset. UPF presets are the protected files. That's why one of the main reasons why I made Unify was to be able to protect my presets. A lot of my Omnisphere libraries you can find on eBay and places like that. And I sincerely thank all of you that don't go to eBay and buy them. Thank you. That's why I have sales at my website. It's just like keep people coming to my site instead of looking for the different. But the Unify libraries like this are protected, and it's a blessing. It's one of the best things that happened for me. So if you go save as and then just hit save, you've now saved that to its own directory inside of the Purity library. So it's very easy to make your own patches, give them a special signature if you want so they show up at the end of the library, or you could put like 00 at the beginning and have them show up at the top of the library if you want. To make and build your own patches. Now, one other thing. Jason was talking about maybe if you wanted to take one of the hit patches, right? And if you open up Guru's sampler or you use the attack, let's say I want to make a really dreamy, ethereal, and the shimmer delay and some reverb. Now, what if I wanted to save this and keep it close to here? I could do a couple things. If I wanted to replace this, you can right click on the currently loaded patch and delete it. And then save it again, and it would save back in place as a .unify file, which can be updated anytime you want. Or like I've shown you in you could just say, let's go V1 slow. And then go save as, save. And so this shows up next to this fast one. But right next to it, I have a slow, and I could put my initials if I wanted or something in there so that I know. Okay. So there's some tips to help you along the way. There is Wave Sequencer. Hello, Paul. All right, so the bowls came out great. On top of that, for Purity, I also sampled a couple other things. Here, I can even show you kind of my secret stuff. Down in the user library, I have made the presets for some of the things that I ended up sampling. I would make them as a patch here. This is Chromophone, which is one of my favorite physical modeling based plugins. It's 2 layers. I'm only using one layer for this. And so you can go over here to the synth engine. You can change all these things in what type of material this is. All sorts of cool stuff. So I made this bell sound and then sampled it. So if we go to Purity, here is the sampled version of Silver Bells. Plays actually nicer, I think, because it's just a stereo sample instead of the DSP and the way that it interacts. So and my sampling process is using Logic Pro, and I play each note. I start at C. I usually do what I call the C minor 7 scale. So I play C, E flat, G, and B flat. And then I all across the whole keyboard, and I play each note. Wait for it to ring out before I play the next one. And then I export that. Then I chop it up into separate samples. I rename it in Logic so that it's all mapped. I do it. There's AI tools and there's programs that you can have it spit out samples automatically. I'm still very old school. I want to make the sounds myself by hand. Basically, is my it's a lot of work. But the result is I know what I have. Another applied, what is it? AAS. They need a new company name. That's such a hard name. Applied Acoustics. But their products are great. I really love working. I did the voicing on the Korg Kronos and the Oasis, which have some wonderful physical model engines inside of it for the string and stuff like that. So I've been, in fact, I designed algorithms for the wave drum. Over here and over there is a wave drum. I did the voicing for those for Korg many years ago. Okay, so the bells, you see how we did them, how you can save your own versions and stuff like that. Awaken just simply means that it's played and then it comes back to life. So any of the awakens, there's, like I said, there's the technique where that was with the mallet. This is with the stick. So it has more of a frosty. And again, high pass filter. You can filter out to where you just have like that airy, cool, yummy stuff. Then put that on the things. I actually made a keyboard sound down here. Keys. Where's my keys? I'm in Purity, BPM, drum, loop, L. I made keyboard patches. Oh, they're in the Z. That's right. I'm like, where is it? The Magical Bowl Piano. Just hear a little bit of this. Right? So, it comes in really, really handy to have these cool textures that you can use in all sorts of crazy ways beyond just as the bell that was whatever it was designed for. So, and then the roll fingers, credit card, all this stuff. Paper was fun. This is with a sugar packet resting on the edge, and I would kind of hit it and it would make noises and stuff. Did I work on Korg's Wave Station? I did. I was part of the original voicing team. If you go Skip's Boom Bass, I'm Skippy. So yeah, and Cascade Falls, electric piano, a lot of the rhythmic stuff. I worked on the Wave Station. I worked on the Wave Station SR, had these PCM cards, and I programmed 3 PCM cards using only the front panel of the Wave Station SR, which is only 8 buttons, I believe, or something like that. Ski Jam is by Peter Schwartz, a dear friend of mine that's released a library here. I don't know if I have it here or not, but he did a library for the 2600 from Korg that we sell, which is a wonderful library. It's a wonderful plugin. Really, really, really cool. Yeah. So on top of the bowls and the synths, here I'll show you if you want to see what I use for the synths. If you go to the user library, let's go to like Darkly Dreamer. This is inside of Zebra HZ. Just such a cool synth. And so I made this a solitary. I modified a patch called Forlorn. And then I sampled it in a couple different ways because I just love the growth and it fades out. So for this, if we go here to the library, to the solitaries, here's the Darkly, and I put a little pitch and stableness to it. Yeah, it sounds like it could be Skippy Jam, but no, there's a name. There's a programmer for the Wave Station and a friend of mine, Peter Ski Schwartz. He's had the nickname Ski forever. He's had an amazing career in music. Yes, you only need purity. You only need Unify to play these sounds you're hearing. And the fun thing with this, like some sounds, I like to include the growth of the samples, like the way the Zebra and the filters interact. I'm looping it right here, right? Because it stays there, it's static. Let's see if I go over to the work library. I'm having a good time. I hope you're having a good time. I'll show you something real quick. Takes a second because I have an 8 terabyte drive that I back up all the libraries I'm working on to. Unified development, purity work. So here is my purity work folder. Is this where the wave version is? That's all the individual samples that I was making. I think this is the full retail version, and then wave almost final. So check this out. If I go to the samples for solitary, and let's go to the dark, there's a bright, here's Darkly. Let's load C4 so you can see this in endless wave. This is the tool that I use to loop the samples. And let's close this. As you can see, I'm keeping the beginning, all this magical stuff that the synthesizers do. Most of my samples, I like Mega Magic pads, same way. It's critically important to me to keep this and not just, I could have just made it where I just play late, you know? And then I could make envelopes on this and make it slow. And it sound like that. But the real thing from Zebra sounds like this. All that growth and the unstable pitches and all this magical stuff. So when I make these libraries, I'm really listening to make sure that I capture the spirit of what I'm recording, because I really want it to be there for you to play with and not get shortchanged. So many of these libraries, they'll just do loop onlys, and and Korg voicing, we do that quite often because like we have filters and stuff to play with. But if that's we were fighting with limited memory when we did like the Wave Station. We had a 0.5 megabyte of memory for the entire sample memory of the Wave Station. So John Bowen and myself and other people, we had to this is a luxury that you'd never find samples like this back in the day in Korg synths, because this one sample is probably more than the entire memory of the Wave Station for samples for one sample, because these are like 4 megabytes each. It was 25% of this. That much. Like that much memory is what it takes to do all of the samples that you find in the Wave Station. It's crazy. So I learned from Vietnam, of synthesis on how to do super short samples and how to do long samples. And so we live in an age where I can take samples and I can have them just, when you play Solitary Bright with the little, this is the crescendo. So this is the original where it gets bright and dark. How big are these? These are, look at this. Each sample is over 7 megabytes in size. And if you want to see this, let's just open this up on my sample editor. So open this up so you can see what it looks like. So when I play this, that's the full-length sample, baby. The whole thing. And if you're curious, this sample editor that I use is called Twisted Wave. It's $100 a year subscription. But you can zoom in and see exactly where you are. If you can do quick keys to everything. It has wonderful batch processing. It has built into it the Synaptics ZTX processing, so you can change the format of samples. You can change pitch without it changing the time. You can stretch samples. You can do all sorts of things. It's really, really cool. Highly recommended if you need a sample editor. It doesn't loop very well, so that's where we need the free Bjorn tools. This Endless Wave is the best sampling looping I have found on the planet to date, with their multiple crossfades, especially these last 3 different types of crossfades. Wonderful. But this tool is really helpful. You can go like this and go Command Delete for have it do crossfades, and then type in the crossfade duration. So if I want to be let's say 7 seconds, and then it will do something so I can see it. And it does very, very nicely. Another tool that I use a lot, if we're getting into all this kind of stuff, is Isotope's RX11. If we go through here to, let's say, the A440 bells, and let's go Isotope RX11. This is like black magic software compared to what we used to be able to do in the past. Let's see, here it is. So I can put some of these samples in here so you can see. Well, actually, no, let's do the hits, because these are like 6 megabytes long. So these show you the samples. Let's see if I see anything. Like, see these different movements and stuff? I just moved a little. I've tried so hard to stay still. But there's a couple times where I did more movement than I wanted. And you can zoom in on this stuff. And then there's all sorts of noise reduction. Where is spectral deprocessing? This in here. Spectral repair, and this would be a fairly small, but see that little gap right there? If I hit render, boom. I might make it a little bit stronger. And then you can listen to it back to see if you got rid of it. If it's too much, you could undo it. So these are my sample tools that I use to build my libraries. Couldn't live without any of those 3 programs. So as a little Christmas present, I wanted to show you guys what I use today. Let's see. Just posted above. Oh yeah. I think I have my t-shirt place working. We finally got a place where we can sell shirts and I can design shirts and stuff like that. If you want to design a t-shirt, email us. Let me know, because I would love to have some fun designs if any of you guys want to do that. Now, I have not personally ordered a t-shirt from there yet, but I will. I promise. I want to. So, but it's more reliable than the... Thank you. Yeah, there's big logo. There's small logo on the front and big on the back. There's just big on the front. There's sweatshirts. There's hats. No longer are there bikinis, stuff like that. That didn't work out so well. Okay, so as you can see, that's how I made the different bells and plucks. Angel's Landing. This is another from Chromophone, and then I used one of my favorite plugins. If I was to do a list of favorites, is from Arturia. Their EFX Fragments is just pure magic. It's granular synthesis with octaves and all sorts of things. You can click Advanced, which will get you into all the parameters that are used. And let me see here. Dude, I don't know if they have a... I'd have to come over here, but here's, again, the original. And other patches that they have. So if you need weird glitchy stuff, or you can design really subtle things like I do for some of the samples. And what's cool, it's an audio effect. So you can apply this to any source. You can play guitar and put this on it. It's not an oscillator and a synthesizer exclusive to that. It's an audio effect. So love that. Love that. On top of the bowl playing and on top of the synth pads, I also made drums. And there's a video walkthrough. Let me give you a real quick demo of what I did. I first did loops. And that's where I'm playing this. You know, I'm playing it, slapping it, muting it, kind of like a conga or a cajon that you would do or something like that. I'm into the link for Twisted Waves. Let's see here. Twisted Wave sample is twistedwave.com. It's available for Mac and Windows as well, which is really cool. Really nice man behind it. It's a one-man operation, and I've been in communication with him. He's doing some stuff, maybe hopefully for a future release, that I miss from old sample editors that are not here anymore. So there, that's Twisted Wave. Okay, so the bowl jams, these are like this. And then I used another one of my favorite tools called Recycle. Let's see if I want to show you these. This is the extended play because we're doing live streams. I've got all the time in the world I want, right? Let's see. Here we go. 4 gigabytes here. Over to Purity Work. Let's see. Let's see, do I have the loops here? Those are the hits. Here's the loops. So if I take the loop and I put it into Recycle, where's Recycle? Here's Recycle from Propeller Heads. Propeller Heads is a wonderful company. They make Reason. They just brought a new version of Reason. Sure, why not? And what it does is it can take loops and let you visually see them. And then you can bring up sensitivity sliders. And I want this to be the far right. So I say that's the right for the loop to stop. And this is 2, 3, 4, 2. So it's 2 measures long. So I say set this to be 2 measures. And it turns on preview. And then I can set markers for all the timing events. And I can zoom in. You can, anyway. But the end result is that I now have each timing event is a separate sample once you're done. You have to do all sorts of tools and editing and make sure that you get your transients. And there's command 4 for this to get this right, and then go back to command 1. Like that needs to be a timing event. So you say timing event there. Oh, I missed it. So I can drag it. You can drag, you can set things exactly how you want them. I have looped with Recycled probably 300,000 samples. All the big bad beats, Skippy's noise box loops, all the drum loops for all the libraries that I've done and stuff like that. I know Recycle better than I probably should. I used Recycle back in the day when it was only mono. And when Eric Persing and myself and the Ilio team partnered up and came up with Groove Control. Remember that back in the day with Stylus RMX and the libraries for Yokai and Roland samplers before that? We had special software that could separate a stereo file. You would do Recycle on one side, and then this other piece of software would like take all this header information and where things are divided and put it to the right side, recycle left and right separate, and then combine them back together as stereo samples after they've been recycled. And then you edit each one by hand. So yeah, I've been around a while, edited a few samples. So that's the process, don't save, that was used to make these. And what's fun is I worked with Shane and we got it set up so that we have a special button inside a MIDI box, which is tied directly only to our Guru sampler. So it now tracks the keyboard for the coarse tuning. So, and if I go into MIDI box, this is the reference for what note that MIDI file is supposed to be referred to. So right now it's E2. If I bring this up, it can be any note on the keyboard. As you can see, coarse tuning is changing. If I set it to E2, I can now go to anything else. I could go to a bowl, load that. And let's go to the bowl, just for fun. Let's bring the sample start. Let's make this rhythmic. You know, also, I have some bonus patches. In fact, if there's time, we'll see. I might make a couple bonus patches in the live stream. We'll see. But that's how it works. Now, we have other crazy things we can do inside of Unify. One of them being the ability to take a monosynth and make it polyphonic. And that's by using a really cool MIDI effect we designed called Polybox. And what Polybox does is you say how big the pool is, and that just means how many MIDI channels is it going to spit out, up to 8. And each time I play a new MIDI timing event, it automatically advances to the next MIDI channel to send that timing event. And then Shane, we worked very closely to get it so that when you hold down notes, they're still held down. When you let up, they stop. It's magic. But as a result of this, I can take any mono file and make it polyphonic, which means I can take this bowl that plays mono. If you go to the 8 voice, I can now play chords. And it's just advancing. If I play a note, it's playing MIDI channel 6. The next note, 7. Next MIDI channel, 8. Next time I play a note, it goes back to 1. I'm not scrolling in the right spot. Right? Now, if I wanted to, you could go to Polybox and you could say random, and that way it's random. The advantage and the crazy thing is if you start playing with panning, Like for some reason I have two. Let's see. Let's go like this. So I just have one. Oh wait, undo. I need to like duplicate. I made a mistake. Duplicate. And set that to MIDI channel 1. Silly Skippy. You can do incredible things where you now have panning changing. You could have pitch LFOs and envelopes be a little different, filters be a little different. You can do all sorts of really fun things with this so that now, and now it's random. It's got a pool of 8 notes, and each time I play, it's skipping all over the place now as far as what MIDI channel it's going to play. It still knows that its pool is only 8 because I told it can only play with 8 MIDI channels. If I set this above 8 to 16, now there's 8 channels that are not, they're blank. So when I play those, it won't make a sound. So you want to make sure you set your pool size to how many layers you have to play with inside of Unify. And that way it will just stay, right? So by doing this, I turned all of these audio loops that you can't play polyphonically. Like here's another one. It's just a single, so it's monophonic. If I play a chord, it's just going to choose one of the notes and play it. But go to the 8 voice and right? Really, really, really fun. So there's all these variations of the bowls where I'm playing. These are original loops, me playing it and then loop recording it and then chopping it up. Oh yeah. I'll show you augmented realities. I have 3 plugins, 2 are free to show you. So we got to keep moving. I'm just having so much fun. Anyway, the last thing I did that was really, really fun is if you go up here to drum, you will see that there are 3 different menus where I played it just as a single, different ways of playing it, and sampled those and then turn them into 3 different rhythmic menus. Up here are kit 1, kit 2, kit 3, so that each one of these has 5 grooves that are built by MIDI, making MIDI sequences inside of Logic to those samples. And it's tuned to E. If you open up MIDI box, you can set it to course tune and that plays with everything else. And if you weren't, here's the steps if you wanted to turn this into a polyphonic. Watch this. You go layer, add MIDI effect, Polybox 8 layers. It's one of the presets that we made for the MIDI effects. Just choose that. Go over to where it says in. We're no longer going to use the raw MIDI in. We want it to listen to Polybox. Instead of all MIDI channels, we want it to just be set to 1 MIDI channel. Each layer can be on its own MIDI channel. It's just where you set that up for in and for out. We don't need to change it for the out. The last step is to go over here and say duplicate this 7 times. It will now duplicate it and it will advance each one as you see by MIDI channels. So now that groove is now polyphonic chords. So if I was to go over here, let's combine that with like Tiger Wants to Attack. So I just quickly loaded a Unify whole patch, which has 4 layers and all sorts of things that it's doing. So if I solo this, and then I'm combining that isn't that fun? So lots of fun stuff. So Purity is out. There's some really, really, really nice bonus multis. I'm going to make some more. think we might do a live stream, like maybe next week. We'll do a late night live stream. I'll make patches then. There's after parties. Right? There's really cool keyboards. There's additional pads that are just like combining all these ethereal sounds together is fun. Yes. All right, so let's talk about new stuff. There's a couple free things that are available. Anyway, just real quickly, one last thing. You can get that lovely library at pluginguru.com. Let me show you before I pluginguru.com right here. And just click the link for Purity. And all you need is Unify, and it's on a special $20 off until January 5th. And the library walkthroughs here. Here's the bowls. Sadly, one of the bowls didn't make it. I was on a phone conversation with a friend, and this little metal bell was on a bar stool and fell. And I had done a very dumb thing, and I had the bowl on the ground right next to the bar stool, and it fell into it and it broke it. And if you watch the video walkthrough, there's a picture of the accident. It's tragic, very sad. But it lives on in that library. So anyway, there you go. Now, there is a new library from Arturia, a new plugin, I should say. It's not a library. If you go to Arturia, they have fragments, augmented mallets, not fragments. They've got fragments and they got augmented. These are their hybrid between acoustic to synthesis, typically type of sounds. It's available here, and it's free for a limited time. I think they're going to make the way they typically do these is they have a $100 version show up. Here's the link. Thank you, Jim. Merry Christmas. And there's some interesting stuff in here. It's and it's great timing because this plays really well with Purity. So if you take this and you combine it with, let's go over here to like some of the hits. If we go to the bowl, to the hit, and let's also add the slow bowl. That'd be really cool to add that we made. Plays very nicely. But anyway, their whole thing is this morph knob between two different types of sounds. I thought Digital Winter was a really nice patch. And you can cycle between them, morph between them. A nice vibraphone. I wish this had a little bit more present. It doesn't have the same. I want to record a vibraphone one of these days because I've found very few where you really feel like you're right there present with it. But you're playing very nice recordings. So this is free for a limited time until I think January something. It's valid until January 2nd. So you have. Here's the other side, the really cool synthy side. So this is free. There's a really cool convolution room effect that is free. Let me show you that on some drums. So let's go to, let's do it with Recycle. This is cool techno drums and stuff like that. So if we go like this and. Let's do it with more of just a normal groove. There you go. Okay, this is called Subtle Spaces. SBT release. And you can find this plugin. Let me give you the page and the link. Here's the page. It's Find Classic Plugins. You're going to give them your personal information to get the plugin. That's the way most of these guys work. They want your email address, which you can unsubscribe from in the future if you want. But, and it has a set of presets. Quite a few, actually. The rooms. Here's your mix. What's really cool, if you hit the little sliders, you have 3-band EQ. You have one peak, you have a low shelf, and a high shelf. If I can click it. So you make radio type EQ and stuff like that. They also have these spaces instead of the rooms, and the spaces change you to a moody evening colored interface. You hear early reflections in that one. So this is free. Very nice. Okay. Outside the club, of course, you radio program. But it's all rooms. It doesn't get beyond about, that's probably a second and a half at the most. But nice, very, very nice. So, free plugin for those of you that don't have enough reverb. I mean, there's so many reverb plugins, it's crazy. So that's nice. Also on top of that, our friends at Traction, who distribute wave sequencers, wonderful Hyperion and so forth, they have a new update in the BioTek series, their most complete, more powerful synthesizer. Does some really cool things. Sounds very cool. Yeah, let's do this. Let's give it a little bit of a mastering setting right here on the presets. Master. I always use Optimizer Lite. Here's without. It's very subtle. Just gives things a little bit more presence. It's kind of like a modern take on like a wave sequencer, wave station kind of thing in some cases. And part of that is because if you go to the edit page, you have up to 4 oscillators per layer, and you can have as many layers as you want. So when you're going through the patches, here's one that has 8 layers. Takes a while for this to evolve and grow. Mod wheel up gives you this. Right? So some interesting stuff. I just wanted to let you know it's available. They sent me this to play with. And I like to let you guys know what all is out, of course, each week. They have numerous engines and algorithms. They have the sample as well as different waveforms. I think it's a single sample. I don't think they do multi-samples because this bass, that's just one sample. It's a little out there at times, but if you love these kind of sounds, a lot of people enjoy the BioTek series. It's got some really cool environmental samples. It can do a groove. So you can play with the mod wheel to do fun things with it. Good stuff. Tons of patches. If you click right here, you get the patch browser. You can go over here to just say BioTek Factory 3 to just see the new patches that were added. You can see by composers, so you can see Richard Devine's crazy patches. Right? It's nice. Got some good stuff to it. So if you want more information on this, that's available right here. Hello. Traction for BioTek. Hello, Jurgen. Thank you. Just seeing the chat for a second. It is a little bit of a cluttered UI. It does pack a lot into a small amount of space, for sure. Let's see here. I got to click here to close that. And then they have the easy, not so easy for perform, where you have access to the volumes and so forth, and then edit. So you've got 3 different layers of controls to work with. It's a unique interface, you know. A lot of times with these synths, it's just about you guys spend some time and learn it and then remember it. That's the challenging part. Oh, thank you, GB. Thank you. Appreciate it. B-Quake in your arsenal. I don't have B-Quake. What's B-Quake? Is that a plugin that's on the Mac? B-Quake. Let's see here. Oh, that's WA Productions. VFX. It's a multi-effects. I see you've got some buttons. It looks like here. This is B-Quake. I'm not a fan of. You notice my website. I'll never do this. I think this is horrible. You know, to pop up without you asking for anything, you know, pop up. I hate that. Yeah, so B-Quake is, it looks like it's kind of like a multi-pad. You can click to change this effect settings and so forth or something like that, I guess, right? And it's on sale for $10. So that's a good price if you need something of that nature. No, I don't. I don't have that one, so I haven't played. I don't have every plugin. I have a lot of plugins, but there are some that I do not own for sure. So, yeah. Let's see what else is going on in the chat. Any other questions you guys have popping around? Take note of the teacher. I'm going to read them back. Yeah, not so easy. And 3, brain seizure. Yeah. Yeah. It's, you know, my job when I'm showing new plugins is not necessarily I'm not endorsing them. I'm not slamming them. I'm showing them, showing what they can do. And for some of you, this is right down your cup of, you know, these sounds are very inspiring. And I point you to the website so you can get more information. Last week, we did something with Cherry Audio for the GX80. And it was great. A lot of you guys didn't have the GX80 and bought it, and then bought the library that Fred made for the GX80, and they were really nice. They wrote a really nice email back to me this week, so that got really nice. Now, next week after Christmas, I was thinking to do it this Christmas. Maybe I'll do it now, because you guys want to know this stuff. I'm going to just show you my notes. Let's see here. I can get this up. These are my favorite plugins of 2024, just for you to take a look at. That came out that well, wait, these were 3 that they're okay, but the ones that I really liked were these. The Baby Audio Atoms just kind of didn't hit right for me. It might hit for you. I don't know. Cherry Audio CR78 is actually really cool and tall. Falfa, the PH Alpha is really cool. I guess maybe I would just remove that from the list. But Derailer for oh, where'd it go? Derailer is a really cool physical model that does some really cool thing. The spectral compressor is a really powerful compressor that can do some fun things. Mario Nito has a couple really cool effects. His new chord generator is great. We showed that in last week's live stream. Polyverse's Filterverse. I don't know if you guys have seen this. Let me find it really quick. YouTube Filterverse. No, that's not that. Let's go here. EREs. Oh, wait, it's actually on Polyverse's. Let's see here. Let's go Polyverse Music.
Hello, my name is...
Unique presets that turn Filterverse into a synthesizer. This is really exciting. I'm working with Eras to get these patches to you somehow. But inside of Filterverse, you can set it up to where it's a synthesizer. And when he's showing these patches, they're inside of Unify. So he's built these patches.
I took the same one and duplicated with 3 Filterverse variations. Here's an example.
There it is, in high def. So he can play with pitch, bend, mod, all this stuff. Incredible. So here, I'm going to put a link to watch this. If you guys own Filterverse, I should put Synestia on my list. Of course I should. Let's see. ST. I never spell it right. I just... It's SYNSTIEA.
Lots of fun. I'm using Unify to load a bunch of instances of stuff. It's a lot of fun. What else do we have here?
Rhizomatic.
A simple, like a...
Yeah. It's SYNSTIA. There it is. It's on the list, Daniela. Sorry, I forgot. Oh, okay. I think I fixed it. Anyway, it's really cool what Filterverse can do as far as these crazy filters and so forth. And you can play it as a synthesizer inside of Unify. And so he's using Unify to save the presets. And because we send MIDI to audio effects, we can do cool stuff with that. So thank you to Filterverse for showing that. Did I spell it wrong still? R SYNESTIA. I have it spelled right. That's how you spell it. NESTIA. Synestia. It's a hard name for me to remember, so I forget. Yes. All right. Yeah. So I think that's what we wanted to cover today. Yay! So the new library is available for those of you that would like to have the purest sounds I can make. I don't think I'm going to top that for any times soon for the types of sounds. Oh, let's see here. They're still there. And I can't take it off because I'm wearing in-ear monitors, so we'll take them off afterwards. Anyway, thank you for joining us today. Let's do our shout outs. Out from Eagle, Idaho. I'm glad to see you all here. Hope this was enjoyable and educational. That's what we try to aim for each week. Give you information as well as inspiration. Scotland. Thank you, David. Michael in New Zealand, I think, right? I love that. I love that. From Michigan. Great, Craig. Good to see you, brother. Hello from Emma was taken in Finland. Good to see you. Thank you for joining us. This is my favorite part of the show. I say this all the time. It's my favorite. Just because to see, it's worldwide. You guys are everywhere. Kasaka-san in Japan. Arigato gozaimashita. Domo. My chance to practice Japanese once a week. I love it. Having to remove Unify complete from the internal disk to the external disks. Da Vinci, you can email Taylor at unifysupport@pluginguru.com. The main thing I can suggest if you're going to do a move of your data, I have a Plugin Guru folder which has a Unify folder in it. So you'd want to copy the Unify folder to wherever you wish to put it, and then go into the settings. And when you go to the main data folder, you can first click open, and that will open your existing Unify folder that it is looking at to make sure that you're in the right place. And then when you copy that over, you would just quickly choose change and point it to the new, where that new Unify folder is located, say open. It'll give you a little error message if there's a problem, but otherwise it will say, okay. And then make sure you don't have any other plugin versions of Unify open, only the standalone version when you do this, because each plugin, when you close it, it saves that settings file. And so sometimes people will do this where they have the plugin version running and then they have standalone. And if you fix this in standalone and then you close the plugin version, it will update and write and not include your new settings. So only have standalone version and only do the change of data there with nothing else, no other music apps running, and you should be okay, all right? That's the main advice to give you. Yes, and it's Taylor. Taylor, happy holidays, my friend, in Portland. Thank you. Yeah, Rob, peaceful and loving Christmas to you as well. Have fun. My daughter is flying in this week. We're going to spend the night at my mom and dad's house. They're all excited for that. Yeah. I have all of my samples on a separate SSD. All the Unify is on this SSD, which is not the system folder, not the system. In fact, I have, if you were to go to my system folder, my memory's a little, I only have 50. Usually I try to keep at least 100 gigabytes on the system hard drive. But if you go to like users to share, this is where all the sample libraries are. These are all, let's see, go like this. There's all of these that are symbolic links for all of the libraries for all of these plugins. All of these go to other hard drives. This is on the terabyte. I have another 2 terabyte Rocket hard drive where most of my sample libraries are saved. So I've moved every sample library that Contact tries to save on the internal hard drive. All of that stuff has been saved to one of 2 SSD drives that I have on my computer. So none of those are on the system hard drive. So there's if you do searching for symbolic links for the Mac, you can right click and then use this make symbolic link. You can add this extension. It's not there by default, but once you have it set up, it makes a link that's at the Unix level of the OS. So it won't ever go away. Your computer thinks it's still on the hard drive. It doesn't know that it's been moved to an external hard drive. So At that point, when you download updates, it automatically saves them to the external hard drive automatically when they're updated. Works great. Works great. Cool. All right, well, thank you all for joining us. Merry Christmas, and we will see you in a week after Christmas, and we'll do, a countdown of all the libraries we've released this year. It's been a really nice year. I moved from Portland, Oregon to Eagle, Idaho to be closer to my mom and dad, and it's been just wonderful to be here and get to see them all the time. And so symbolic links you can use to clean up all the stuff on your hard drive. Just I worry about in the future, moving things again and stuff like that, but we'll deal with that when we get there. But it makes it so that I don't have my system hard drive populated with sample libraries and stuff. So anyway, thank you for joining. Merry Christmas to you all. I hope you have safe, happy Christmases with family and loved ones, and we will see you next week where we get together and hang out again. It's good to see you all right? Merry Christmas! May it be a pure Christmas for all, right? Bye, everybody.